Republican Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee joins me now. And sir, I'm not playing that to make you look like you didn't have the crystal ball, but to your point that you'd be gravely upset, how are you feeling right now as we enter this next day?
I'm a little tired, but it's just the process, and I guess I should have said which week of Wednesday. I didn't make that clear, but no, it is a process. We followed the rules when we vacated the chair, and that's exactly what we did, and those rules were followed to a T. Now we're just going back in. We're going back in at 10 today, and get a little closer, I hope.
Do you have an end game to the process? And I know you support Congressman Jordan. I know you would like to see this end today if your speaker designate got the votes. He doesn't have them. It seems like he's losing more by the day. What is the process here?
Well, the process is to let the nominee make that decision. That is the process. That's always been the process. Kevin was allowed to go 15 rounds, and Jim is gone 2 rounds now. So it's ultimately going to be up to Jim and what he decides to do and the people that are close to him. But right now, Jim's our nominee, and that's who I plan to support. But when Steve Scalise was the nominee, I supported Steve as well when we walked out of that first meeting. So We'll just see. The party will come together. This will be a blip in our rearview mirror when we're finished with this. Y'all will be on to all new scandals by then.
I mean, I think the one thing that has me pause a little bit beyond the lack of precedent for this moment, and to your point, you followed all the rules, the 8 who voted to vacate. But moments like this, my colleague Jake Tapper played this voicemail that a member's wife received. Take a listen.
Warmongering piece. So listen, you're going to keep getting calls and emails. I'm putting all your information over the internet now. Everybody else is, and you will not be left alone because your husband, Jim Jordan, or more conservative, or you're going to be molested like you can't ever imagine. And again, non-violently.
Congressman, besides how abhorrent that is, I don't understand how the conference comes back from this moment when stuff like that is happening.
Well, it happens every day. I could show you that, and where the people have made horrible accusations and things they were going to do to members of my family, and I couldn't even get Capitol Hill Police to respond to my phone calls about it. So it's a day-to-day occurrence. It happens on the left and the right. I'm conservative. I get those all the time. I've gotten them from elected officials, for goodness sakes. The FBI has had to step in. So it's a day-to-day thing. It's horrible. Jim denounced it.
Right.
You just have sick people in this world, and they're horrible. And they need to have their butts kicked, and they need to be thrown in jail. So, I don't stand for any of that nonsense. That jerk is just here's those type of guys. They throw a rock over the fence, and they run home behind their mama's skirt. And that's exactly who that dirtbag is. And he ought to be pulled in jail, and he ought to spend some quality time there and understand his consequences. Because General Bacon's a good man. He's a good man. That's ridiculous. You call somebody's wife.
Right.
I mean, that shows you how gutless these people are on both sides. And look, don't judge the party by those. I don't judge the party by when Rashida Tlaib says something that I feel is anti-Semitic. I don't judge the whole Democratic Party for that.
Oh, so, no, sir, to be clear, I'm not judging the party on that. I think it's just a little bit jarring, particularly when you hear it. And I think because it's intra-party, right? And so that's the very serious side of things. But there's also the very juvenile side of things of members quote tweeting other members and then blocking members on Twitter, and then those members saying that the problem is that members don't have balls. I'm quoting Nancy Mace after she was blocked by. This is what I'm talking about. I don't understand how the conference comes back together, like you say.
It's a lot of different personalities. That's what happens when you have a very thin majority, and people's tempers are frayed, and they'll hug and make up and sing Kumbaya, and that's just what people do. But it's the world we live in now. I mean, it's instantaneous. We've got these crazy cell phones, and people respond immediately. I always used to say, if you're going to write something or say something, you need to sleep on it for a little while. And obviously people aren't sleeping on it. They're just firing off. So, there's a level of maturity and involved in all this. And it's just, I just don't get too worked up over it. I've been doing this most of my adult life, and I've seen and heard it all. I've had the death threats. I've had to have security details. Look,
Right.
I've spent over $30,000 for security at my own house because of my family's situation and the threats that we've received. And I've had deputies out at my house that just don't publicize it. We live in a world of dirt bags, and people are instantaneously wanting results, and they're just not going to get it. And with cell phones, it gives them a whole new amount of courage. I'm sure you could have a psychologist on here and analyze that. But again, General Bacon's,
Right.
he's a good man. He is a good man. He's a friend of mine, and that's ridiculous. And I would like to have some words with that person that said that to his wife personally.
I think the good words are sleep on it before you tweet or leave voicemails. Sir, we appreciate your time. I know it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Hope to have you back soon. Talk policy instead of this.
Right.
Does it get done today?
Next Wednesday.
Next
I'll
Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. All right.
I pray. I wake up in the middle of the night and I say my prayers. I say, Lord, I want you, let your will be done, but could you please give us a speaker today?
Tim Burchett, Congressman from Tennessee. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, brother, always.